You already know how to create citations. This tutorial is going to take you to the next step, how to effectively work sources into your paper and how to clearly demonstrate the owner of an idea with the use of voice markers. Voice markers are words or phrases that communicate to whom an idea belongs. For instance, playwrights often employ a system like this to indicate who's saying what. In this example, "Hey, Bill, can you hear me?" "Carol, is that you?" Who else would it be? We're connected by tin cans and a string. Ha, right. You get the idea. A name followed by a colon tells the reader who's speaking. In novels, the system might look more like this, since novelists often use one kind of voice marker, the signal phrase, to let readers know who's speaking or thinking. "Carol, which movie would you like to see?" asked Bill. "Something without zombies and mayhem," replied Carol. "That doesn't leave anything good," he protested. "Well, you can always go by yourself," she teased. The phrases "asked Bill," "replied Carol," "he protested," and "she teased" are signals that tell a reader who is saying what. In academic writing, a similar system is used. When you write an academic essay, it's important that a reader can understand to whom an idea belongs. "Wait," you say, "I wrote the paper, it all belongs to me." To some extent, you're right, the paper does belong to you. However, in academic writing, you will be expected to draw on sources to enter into a conversation about a topic with other writers. It's very important that a reader can tell when you're making a point yourself and when you are borrowing someone else's ideas to support your own.
Now we're going to look at 3 specific examples of how voice markers are used to cite an essay and a film review using MLA citation style, and how they are used for a book cited in APA citation style. You should be sure to check your assignment to see which citation style your instructor requires for your research paper.
This is a quote from Paul Roget-Loeb's book, Soul of a Citizen. It will be used as the source for the next few slides. Read through this passage, and don't worry, there isn't a quiz about this paragraph. It's always important to cite your sources. In MLA style, you will always end your essay with the section titled Works Cited. If you were to use Loeb's ideas in any way, you'd need to give credit. And the easiest, most direct way to do that is use a voice marker in the form of a signal phrase. For most people who use MLA style, a signal phrase is used for the first time a source is introduced, including the author's full name, title of the work, and any credentials of the author. In this example, note the phrase, "Paul Roget-Loeb observes." Similar to our earlier conversation between Carol and Bill, this signal phrase introduces the idea that Americans are interpersonally kind and generous as belonging to Loeb. The number in parentheses tells the reader that this idea appeared on page 2 of the book. Meet Stan. Imagine that Stan, a student in your class, wants to use some of Loeb's ideas to enhance, further, or clarify his own ideas for a paper. He'll need to be very careful to use voice markers to signal to the reader when an idea belongs to him and when it belongs to Loeb. This is an example of Stan's use of Loeb's ideas. Can you tell which ones are Loeb's and which are Stan's? They all look like they could belong to anybody, right? In the previous example, Stan didn't use any voice markers to indicate the distinction between his own ideas and Loeb's. This is his first attempt at integrating voice markers. Note that he uses a good signal phrase, according to Paul Roget-Loeb, to start out, but there's nothing to indicate when Loeb's idea ends and Stan's begins. This is Stan's revision. Stan has signaled to the reader which ideas belong to Loeb and which are his own. The last sentence is Stan's clarification of Loeb. The voice marker in this case is the phrase, although Loeb doesn't say so explicitly, which tells the reader that Stan is commenting on Loeb's ideas. Voice markers are particularly important when you are paraphrasing or summarizing someone else's ideas, but occasionally add your own comments, interpretations, or clarifications within the summary. For another example of voice markers, let's look at this brief review of the movie Pearl Harbor from Roger Ebert. Even film reviews get full citations in your works cited list at the end of your essay. This is a paraphrase of Ebert's review. Note that the first 2 sentences provide a neutral summary of Ebert's review of Pearl Harbor, while the third sentence offers commentary on the review, and the fourth returns to a summary of and a quotation of the review. The phrase, "Ebert's contempt for the movie is apparent," functions as a voice marker, letting the reader know that the writer is offering interpretation or commentary instead of simply summarizing.
So far, we have explored voice markers in MLA style. Now let's take a quick look at how voice markers may appear in APA style. Take a moment to read this brief example.
APA style favors the use of parenthetical information to indicate ownership of ideas instead of using explicit voice markers within a sentence. Further, if they do include a voice marker within a sentence, they also include the publication date in parentheses. In APA style, a list of citations at the end of your essay is necessary. It is titled References instead of Works Cited or Bibliography.